Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Darren Jacobs, and welcome to another episode of Monday Night Mayhem. Of course, yesterday you may have seen on social media a huge announcement made for Mayhem, as they now know that the pay-per-view will be taking place in Las Vegas, Nevada, for what will be known as the Sin City Showdown. It is going to be one hell of a pay-per-view, and we've got action to come tonight and building up to that, as well as at the pay-per-view, which could be the very first pay-per-view 2K19 should the schedule go according to plan. We kick things off tonight with a battle of the beasts, and the first beast making his way down to the ring is none other than Rage. Rage, of course, will be at the Sin City Showdown, facing for the European Championship, currently held by Siler Jordan, who will be making his first title defense. Rage earning this right by beating him in a Money in the Bank qualifier and eliminating him. And of course, Rage went on to be a part of the Uprising pay-per-view, was unable to capture the championship on that occasion. But Rage, usually silent and deadly, Rage does all his talking in the ring. He had a very slow start to life on his return to WIW after the sudden death pay-per-view in season number 1. But he has come back, and he has come back with a vengeance, and has already won the hardcore title, and now he's gunning for the European Championship, currently held by Siler Jordan. He made his mark last week by taking out Siler Jordan, but tonight he's going to need all his strength, all his focus, all his attention on this man. A man who knows what it is to challenge for the European title, but fall just short. A man who has dominated the scene without winning a title. Another monster. Monster number 2, it is Dicson, who has been a fantastic force within WIW. Truly dominant, truly powerful. But he just misses that final component that he needs to be a champion, and that's clinicalness. He is not one to just go straight into the cover, try and wrap it up. He likes to inflict damage. Just look at his finisher, that burning hammer. One of the most dangerous moves that you could ever pull off. And he does it more than once in a match. Well, Rage, of course, we know that his focus will be mainly solely on the Sin City Showdown, but he's going to need to be on sharp attention here if he's going to win tonight. The bell rings, and away we go for the first contest of the night. And it's been a while since we've started off with just some pure wrestling here. Usually we have someone coming out claiming, I don't know, why they're the best, or Mort Goldberg running down what to expect on the show, but Mort Goldberg, we are told, is not in the building tonight. However, he has set up the card elsewhere. And of course, we know that Mort Goldberg is already under evaluation of his job, and at the Sin City Showdown will be defending his job in a 4-on-1 handicap match for some reason. That was his own choice. He wasn't even put in that situation. He chose to have a 4-on-1 handicap job defense. And of course, he can choose the person who represents him, but God, you'd need nothing short of a monster to get that done. And maybe Dixon's the choice. As you can see, Dicson may not have matched the height and weight of Rage, but boy is he strong, able to lift most opponents with ease. But right now, Rage showing that he can do that on his side as well, as he slams down Dicson. And Dicson, of course, the first ever hardcore champion, and you couldn't have picked a better man to win it. A truly spectacular wrestler in his own right, but right now, Rage, the first ever world champion, showing him his proud record as well. Former world champion, as I say, former hardcore champion. But right now, he's in trouble. Look at this up on the shoulders already. Already looking to drill him down. Didn't go for the full burning hammer, but plants him down out of the torture rack position. And look at this, just lifting him up with ease. Showing the strength off here is Dicson. Rage and Dicson. Could you ever imagine those two on the same team? We'd seen them before on the same team trying to take down Justice. Well, it wasn't trying. They absolutely destroyed them at the time. And here's that cover off that vicious clothesline. He thinks that's enough to put Rage down. And Rage gets the shoulder up at 2. And Dicson now, the clothesline doesn't work. So maybe now he goes for the burning hammer. And what does he do from here? Rage isn't going to stay down for long. He knows that. So yeah, we've seen these two collide as a team. Now we see these two collide in front of each other before our very eyes. And we'll have to see who can walk out. The winner is two monsters. Rage, of course, needing the momentum for the Sin City Showdown. Siler Jordan, I'm sure, would love to watch Rage get beaten down and help his cause coming into the pay-per-view as well. A big night for both of those men. Rage could be the first man on Mayhem to complete the set since Brad Skeens. Brad Skeens, the only other man in WIW who has won both the World Championship and the European Championship. And Rage could join the set should he go to the Sin City pay-per-view and do it. But for Siler Jordan, the natural born thriller, it's his first title defense. Nobody wants to fall short in their very first title defense. That is something I can guarantee you. And now all of a sudden Rage in trouble here, looking for the Burning Hammer, drills his head into the apron. Burning Hammer, and no nonsense this time around. He's going to go straight into cover to put Rage down, and it's a 2 count. Rage able to get the shoulder up off the Burning Hammer, but I bet that one hurts. And look at this Dicson, not wasting any time tonight. Usually just likes to continue to beat down his opponents. Tonight, wasn't willing to take the risk, especially with Rage, who has been in the great form that he has been recently. And now he can't afford to let it slip, and now the clotheslines coming in again, the vicious clotheslines that Dicson has coming into full effect here tonight. And Dicson is putting on a show. Well, Rage, he knows he's going to have a tough battle at the pay-per-view against Siler Jordan, but not quite the fight that this man brings. And now look at this, looking for the Burning Hammer again. Oh no! Instead this time a neck breaker off the top. And Dicson is rolling straight into the cover off that huge neck breaker from the top rope, and Dicson knocks him off. Rage, a huge defeat coming into pay-per-view. Well, the pay-per-view that'll be soon, and look at Rage. Very happy. Dicson very happy. Oh, look at this! Siler Jordan wiping them both out. Well, a little taste of revenge against Rage for the for the last week's attack. But Siler Jordan, with a huge grin on his face, gets himself a little bit of a taste of Dicson as well after beating him. Well, Dicson clearly caught the eye of the champion as well, and he doesn't want to make an enemy of Dicson, because if he comes at the title as well, that's 2 monsters he'll have to deal with at the Sin City Showdown. But for Siler Jordan, making huge statements and getting a revenge shot at Rage at the exact same time. What a mental way to start this one off. Where does it go from here? We'll have to see in the future, but it's time to move on down the rest of the card. Next up tonight, some tag team action, but from the women's division. Nonetheless, as we know, of course, at the Sin City Showdown, Violet, following a similar route to Rage, after beating Halie Bowen in a Money in the Bank qualifier, Violet has, of course, been granted an opportunity to face for the Mayhem Women's Championship at the pay-per-view. Tonight, the general manager, Mort Goldberg, told them both to find themselves a tag team partner, and they will face off in tag team action later on tonight. And tonight has arrived for these ladies. The first person down to the ring, challenger Violet, no shy of winning #1 contenders matches. And of course, if you remember, she was the first person in the entire of the WIW locker room to secure her spot at Insomnia after her Battle Royal win at Sudden Death this year. However, Violet, of course, has done great in #1 contenders stuff, but she has yet to capture a women's championship here in WIW. She's willing to keep fighting for it though. She is strong, she's tough, and she powers through it a lot, but unfortunately for her, she has not been able to do it yet. It's a matter now of whether or not Violet can get the job done on the big stage. And of course, so far, she's earned a reputation for being unable to do that. We'll have to see if she can change that. Her chosen partner tonight's an interesting one. Well, if you're looking for victories, this is definitely someone you're going to want on your team, Isabella Vega. A very lethal fighter, fantastic submissionist. Her last chancery, one of the most lethal submission moves we have here in WIW. Isn't always great trading strikes. She's not the fastest either, as you can imagine, in those high heel boots. But Isabella Vega, if she can get you on the ground, that is where she has you, and that is where you're going to be in trouble. Can Isabella Vega help Violet get a much-needed win to help build up Violet's momentum here tonight? Because Vega doesn't benefit much from this other than ring time, which she hasn't had a lot of lately, especially in season #2. where she's had to earn her opportunities. So at least recently she's had some in-ring time, but not on the long extended periods. Next up tonight, of course, the champion making her way down to the ring, the Mayhem Women's Champion, Halie Bowen. And of course, recently she found out who her challenger was going to be. She found out it was going to be Violet. And of course, she's ready for it. Right now, I'm sure she has a watchful eye on the situation growing between Sandra Piper and Wwe2K18, with Sandra Piper returning last week. And I can confirm that she is competing this week for a proper in-ring return and her debut in season number 2. With the situation of her, of course, one of the greatest women's champions we've ever had, Halie Bowen, the Monster Slayer, will be keeping a close eye on that situation because she knows that Kaiju and Piper would love to come back for another crack at the women's champion. With Halie Bowen, the Monster Slayer nickname came together for a reason, and that is because she is not afraid to take on these monsters, and that is because she has beaten these monsters before. And her tag team partner tonight, Elliot Rodgers, who has recently started to come to life a bit here in season number 2. Had a strong showing in the Money in the Bank qualifiers and in the Money in the Bank match itself at Uprising. Unable to capture the briefcase, but it's a sign of positivity, a sign of things improving. And of course, this tag team match tonight, I'm sure, to be honest, looking at the teams, I'd give the benefit of the doubt to these two, purely because of the external relationship outside the ring between these two. Can they find the chemistry inside the ring, though, and work together to beat Vega and Violet, who are a very tough team in their own rights? Rodgers only starting just recently to pick up victories, but now the question is, can she carry that momentum on and start to build up some wins here? And of course, under the watchful eye of the Mayhem Women's Champion, if she can show that she can hang with the champion, perhaps that will lead to a title match later down the line if she can get some wins as well. And we kick off straight away to a crucifix. And Violet and Bowen, who of course I guess are the captains essentially of these two teams tonight, getting things started here. And Elliot, Rodgers and Bowen, of course, their close relations. Of course, oh, look at this. Bowen didn't want to be in there for too long. She wants to get Rodgers in. And Rodgers is going to get straight in. And look at this. Violet looking directly at the champion. Backbreaker to Elliot Rodgers. And things starting to get a bit personal maybe between Bowen and Violet. To this point, it's been rather friendly, kind of peaceful. And Halie Bowen, she's just been willing to let things happen. But looks like Violet is starting to try and get in the champ's head. Well, she's a tough person to beat physically. Maybe the mental breakdown before the Sin City Showdown could be the way to go here. Who knows? Violet in the corner. That is one hell of a jump. Is she going to make that from the middle rope? It's ambitious. Oh, well, look at this. Oh, but she did make it. But she gets caught by Rodgers. And Rodgers plants her down onto the top rope. And now Rodgers had a slow start on entry here. Can she get a bit of momentum? Oh, looks like she's going to go to the corner. Maybe some tag team action. We're going to get to see. Back in comes the champion and a kick to the gut. And look at that. Straight back in with more kicks. Working away on the gut of Violet. And oh, tosses her down there. And you can see the frustration. Look at that now screaming in her face. And maybe things are starting to get a little bit personal between Violet and Bowen. Before this was strictly about the title. Now it seems these two genuinely are starting to dislike each other. You can see the breakdown there. And look at this. Vega comes in for the first time in this match. And she's being forced on the ropes. And the referee's going to force the break. Oh, and a sign of respect there. No cheap shots. Both willing to just back up. Straight back into the collar and elbow. Look at this. She has her by the throat now. And into an STO. And the women's champion, Halie Bowen, has never encountered Isabella Vega for a championship match. The only champion to ever face for the title against Isabella Vega, of course, was one of the greatest champions we've ever had here in WIW. And that is Sandra Piper. And I'm sure Bowen is getting pretty sick of being told how much better of a champion Piper was. Need I remind you, of course, that it was Bowen that not once but twice took the championship away from Sandra Piper and, of course, beat her on the grandest stage of them all, Insomnia. So, of course, she is no pushover. She is definitely no lightweight, the champion. And, of course, recently knocking off people such as Wwe2K18. She's proving to be a force to be reckoned with. But it's a matter now of whether she can convert that here at the Sin City Showdown and beat Violet. Violet asking to come back in, and she does. And some good, nice little tag team action here between all of them. They all seem to be working together very well right now, seeing how things are going. And a big chop to the leg there as she breaks that hold. And, hold on. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, well, I'm being told we have to cut backstage right now because apparently there's some stuff going down. This match will continue, but what's going on over there? Well, we cut backstage and look what's going on here. BJ Kids sending his own form of congratulations, it looks like, to becoming the #1 contender. James Rowley getting beaten down backstage. And BJ Kids, he really has snapped. Taking a leaf out of Jake Griffiths' book here. But James Rowley fighting back, though. The party boy knows very well how to deal with this situation. He has done it many, many times before, dealing with none other than, of course, Jake Griffiths. And right now, he's not backing down. James Rowley refusing to let BJ Kids get one over on him. Well, BJ Kids has come on social media and in the comment section and said he's not impressed with his challenger. He doesn't believe he stands a chance. He believes he'll destroy him at the Sin City Showdown for the Cruiserweight title, but right now, he is proving him otherwise. He's refusing to back down from him right now and continuing to fight him off, but BJ Kids has just been too dominant lately, and again, he's showing it hit. Oh, an exploder suplex right onto the apron. And there is a match right now. We can't be just sitting here watching this, but it looks like the beatdown is going to continue. We'll get some security back here and sort this out. Well, Jake Griffiths on social media made it clear he would... BJ Kids, excuse me, made it very clear he wasn't happy about the situation between... the situation on the Cruiserweight division. He believes that he wasn't a worthy challenger. He made it clear he's not impressed with James Rowley, and he doesn't believe that James Rowley is worthy of a Cruiserweight title opportunity. And it seems that BJ Kids has made that abundantly clear here tonight. Meanwhile, back in the ring, Elliot Rodgers has been tagged back in. And Violet right now seeming to be in control of the situation. And Violet, of course, with a lot more top-level experience than Rodgers has had, especially in the recent couple of weeks. But Rodgers has definitely started to emerge as a top-tier talent again. But right now, really struggling to deal with the #1 contender, that is Violet. And she might need to make a tag here because Violet she was thinking of a finish there, but well countered. And a beautiful exploder suplex by Elliot Rodgers. And the crowd liked that. Oh, and an eye rake there by Rodgers. And you can see the frustrations starting to creep in from both sides. They're starting to get a little bit ticked off. She needs a tag, but she's not going to get one. And Rodgers counters. And now Rodgers, who I'm sure wouldn't mind a tag of her own. Is she going to make the tag now? No. Violet with a counter this time on that side. And she's going to get her back into her corner. And look at this. Oh, and a monkey flip out the corner. Now can Rodgers turn around, though? Make the tag. Yes, she can. Violet couldn't stop it. In comes the Mayhem Women's Champion with a massive running knee. But Violet springs straight back into her feet. And the pace is picking up in this matchup. And now look at Violet. What's she doing here? Look at this. Oh, she rolls through. Oh, she didn't go for the cover, though. Just a nice little tactic there. And look at this. Violet begging the champion to bring it. She's definitely bringing out a more vicious side here tonight. And the champ's in trouble. Trying to set up a Hurricane Rana now. And if Hurricane Rana connects. Violet will spend a long time in this ring trying to get one up on the champion here tonight. And right now it seems like it's working. Vega and Violet doing a great job here. And now look at this. Oh, mate. This is some really vicious stuff and not quite what we're used to seeing from Violet. I mean, the intensity level is definitely there from Violet. That's nothing unusual, but for right now, the way she's treating her. But now look at this. Submission hold applied and her back's to the ropes here as she goes for the rear naked choke. And it's going to get it done. She managed to just get behind and just cinch it in. And it was enough. Bowen and Rodgers get the job done over Violet and Vega here tonight. A well-contested match. Both these sides fought hard. And it got a little nasty in there. what started as a nice little friendly fight between these two is starting to heat up, especially with the selective targeting as an attempt to send a statement of Elliot Rodgers. But Rodgers held her own here tonight, and Bowen and Rodgers can celebrate together for the first time here in WIW. A huge victory for them tonight. And I think Rodgers is really starting to show that she can be a top contender here in WIW. She had an awful season number 1, but it looks like season number 2 might be a turning of the tides here for Elliot Rodgers. But the women's champion, she did what she needed to do here tonight, and that was to get a win over Violet to give us some momentum heading towards Sin City Showdown. Will Violet, though, be able to bounce back and become the new women's champion at Sin City Showdown, or will Halie Bowen once again live up to the Slayer Massacre? Let's move on down the rest of the card. Well, next up tonight, we are expecting to hear from the WIW champion himself. Brad Skeens is out here next to talk to everyone. He is scheduled to compete here tonight against a debuting Big Boss. So he is expected to compete tonight. It's been a while since we've seen him just here competing. No Justice by his side here tonight. Interestingly enough, of course, Justice tonight are a part of the big main event with the linebacks. And look who is accompanying Brad Skeens to the ring. It seems Wilson and Skeens alliance. It seems like things are going strong between them, and the WIW champion brings Coach Wilson with him down to the ring. Well, that is interesting. But Justice, of course, will be teaming with the linebacks later on tonight in a 4v4. But those same 4 people will be facing one person of Goldberg's choosing at the Sin City Showdown. And should, of course, that team win, Coach Wilson will become the new GM of Monday Night Mayhem. And of course, should Justice and the linebacks lose by some miracle to this mystery man, then of course, Goldberg keeps his job. But let's hear what Skeens has to say. Has anyone seen Goldberg? You know, 60-year-old dude, divorced, bald, and dresses like your uncle on vacation. No, me neither. Mort, I know what you're doing. You're not fooling anyone. You're scared of me, aren't you? You are so embarrassed that I have shown you up and put your job on the line that you are too scared to come out here and face your humiliation head on. Well, Mort, you did it to yourself. I mean, 4-on-1? Are you brain dead? There is no man on this brand that would stop all of us combined. So just give up, Goldie, because this is a fight you will not win. I'm just sad that I won't be the one who delivers the final blow. Anyway, the court is now in session. Today I am putting Big Boss on trial. Not only for acting out against my brand by getting our stars to ruin a fight night match, that in itself is low. And now the 3 of you are all on the same brand as of tonight, and quite frankly, I don't like where that's going. So boss, you have been put on trial. So before our match, why don't you come out here and face your sentencing? Alright, so Skeens here saying that justice needs to be served already, and the dudes just got here. But here they are together, and after last week's ambush of Bruiser Brad on the last episode of Fight Night, they are all here on the same brand. JW Cashman, Travis, and Big Boss. And as you just saw there, it seems as though they are calling themselves the Industry. All 3 of them together all consider themselves to be pretty successful businessmen. And now they are all here together for the same brand. Of course, Big Boss recently traded away to Mayhem. I don't know if it was in exchange for anyone in particular, or if it was for money. Who knows what it was for? All I know is that these 3 spent Friday night ambushing Bruiser Brad, and now on Monday Night Mayhem, they are here, ready to initiate Big Boss over to the Monday Night Mayhem brand. And he's got a huge debut match as he collides with the WIW champion, Brad Skeens. But let's see what Big Boss and Skeens have to talk about. Big Boss, for your attempts to ruin the good name of the Mayhem brand and also your obvious attempts to overthrow the Justice movement with your little boy band that you've started, the Court of Justice finds you guilty. And your punishment, not only are you stuck with me in this ring tonight, but it gets much worse for you. Your punishment, a lethal fine. Oh, sorry, that was what you were going to say, right? A lethal fine? Look, we ain't here to mess around with your property. We know full well that this is your house, and we aren't here to dethrone you. You see, the three of us are in the midst of a business merger, combining our riches to become the richest and most powerful force, but that doesn't really concern you. But hopefully this fine that you've charged us with can prove that we come in peace. I'll even still do the match with you. How does £500,000 sound? Or I can convert it to dollars. Ladies and gentlemen, it seems as though the Court of Justice has agreed on a fine for this new alliance to be paid in full. And that, my friends, is how you serve justice. So let's give a huge welcome to the newest man on Mayhem and ring the bell. Well, okay, I guess we're just going to get a match between them then. The bell rings, and away we go. And I guess the fine was enough. Oh my god! What a start there by the boss. Massive headbutt. Look at that! Skeens didn't take kindly to it. And he answers back with a clothesline. What an opening sequence between those two. And now Big Boss, look at this. These two just taking it in turns here. Oh, and showing off his strength. And he's got the fall of the industry by his corner coach, Wilson, in the corner of Brad Skeens. And this is an interesting situation here. Justice about to declare the punishment and the trial of Big Boss and the rest of the industry. But it seems as though the industry are paying a fine as their punishment. And that's an interesting choice from Skeens, who's right now on the bitter end of a Big Boss beatdown. Well, the industry certainly have the money with the combined earnings of Travis and Cashman, and God knows how much Big Boss makes. Big Boss recently did turn away from the industry side of things rather than because he was been working with Bruiser Brad. And Brad was never about the money, it was about using the power. And that is exactly what he showed Big Boss how to do. And Big Boss right now trying to initiate that over the WIW champion, who is trying to just cling on right now, struggling to deal with the 7'4", 600-pounder standing in his way. And Brad Skeens, of course, very quick to inflict justice. He's trying to make things clear to everyone, and that's exactly what he's doing by targeting Goldberg as well. He's trying to make it clear that the justice movement runs things around here, and he has no intention of relinquishing that hold. He wants to cement the fact that they are in control, and right now, in control of Big Boss for the second. He's doing the right thing by making sure he's in control of the situation. You can't afford to let Big Boss, a man with his type of power, get the upper hand, because that is when things will get costly for you. Brad Skeens becoming one of the longest reigning WIW champions of all time, recently beating Brad Skeens at the pay-per-view. And of course, a huge poll will be on after this episode where you guys can vote on who you want to face Brad Skeens at the Sin City Showdown for the WIW Championship. And of course, your four options, who you will again see tonight in the main event, are of course Tyson Jackson, Jax Wolfe, Stephen Miller, and Mason Foster. Right now, Skeens, look at this. Now going to fire the shots right to the jaw of the big man. That's where he's going to feel it the most. Can he find now maybe a finishing touch? Big Boss not willing to just going to let him lie down. Oh, look at that, trying to charge in for the spear. But well countered there by the Big Boss. Skeens straight back to his feet and tries again. This time connects into the cover on the spear, but look who's getting involved. Travis Cottrell, very much a mouthpiece in his own right, getting himself involved there and keeping Big Boss in the match when Skeens had him down for the spear. Skeens with that signature family spear. Almost getting the job done here tonight, but it seems as though Big Boss is going to survive with the help of the industry. And Travis, no hesitation to get himself involved there. And now look at, just applying 600 pounds right to the chest. Oh my god, no. Oh my god, I was going to say, if he was to splat down on him right there, that could have killed him. But instead he goes for the double axe handle. To be fair, he doesn't strike me as one of the more agile cross-body divers. And now look at this. Oh my god! Just using his sheer force to wipe him down. Look at Coach Wilson now. He's getting himself involved a little bit. Wilson not liking what he's seeing here. As look at this. The power of Big Boss is in full display right now. And the industry are loving this. The champion getting leveled. And a huge leg drop to the champ. And the champ in a bit of trouble. And Wilson knows it. And that is what I love about Coach Wilson. For all the crap he does and all the illegal stuff he's doing, like right now, you got to admit, that dude never backs down. Oh my god! Skeens just lifts him up on the shoulders and slams him down with a powerbomb. Yes, he was distracted, but goodness me, that is impressive. Skeens now straight to the top and gonna wear him down with a top rope dive, elbow drop, and straight into the cover. Is that enough to get rid of the boss? 2 count. What an amazing matchup this has been so far. Both these two really pushing each other to the limits here. Big Boss already shining here on his Mayhem debut. Of course, remember, he will still be at the next Fight Night pay-per-view of Fatality in a Fatality match against Bruiser Brad. And it's already been made clear that his teammates in the industry will not be there to help him. But look at this, Big Boss lining up for the boss kick. Boss kick and into the cover, but it looks like Wilson causing a distraction there for the referee. And it looks like level playing fields again. Both teams landing their straight. Oh god, look now, the Cashman's distracting the ref. Oh, it's a chair's being used. And we saw that at the pay-per-view. We saw the chair come into play, and now Big Boss using it with the distraction this time from Cashman. And he's using it to full effect. Only just the one shot. He didn't care about getting disqualified at the last match. This time, I'm sure he really does care about losing his first ever match here on the red brand. Big Boss stunned by that. He's taken out from behind. Brad Skeens really is putting up a fight against him here tonight, and he's not exactly what I was expecting from Brad Skeens. Skeens never one to go full out on an episode of Mayhem. The usual regular shows have never been Skeens' strong point. He's always been a fantastic pay-per-view fighter, though. Of course, won his first ever championship on pay-per-view. And that was, of course, back in season number 1 where he won the European Championship. Of course, winning the WIW Championship at Insomnia with the help of the Justice team, who, of course, are getting prepped and ready for their match tonight. And that is exactly why they are not in attendance. And the referee just spotting the chair in the corner there. And Skeens might have been set up again for the boss kick, but once again, Coach Wilson coming to his rescue. The referee is going to do something about the chair now, maybe. Oh, Skeens tried to land a cheap shot. Oh, and the referee gets wiped out there. And look at Big Boss. He is loving every moment of this. Skeens, though, getting some separation. Oh, what a spear! Pop-up spear from out of nowhere. The industry ain't going to save him this time. Skeens steals it. The spear as he backs out the corner was enough to give him the space to land the spear and get the job done. Huge win from Brad Skeens. Oh, Boss, look at this, back to his feet. He's not happy, but Skeens ain't having any of it. Skeens is not having any of it. Well, they may have paid the fine to avoid justice, but it looks like justice was served anyway. Brad Skeens beats Big Boss on his first night here. Well, I mean, it was a tough match anyway to deal with the WIW champion. But the industry, and especially Big Boss, that's not going to give him momentum heading towards his big pay-per-view match with Bruiser Brad. But as for Brad Skeens, that gives him huge momentum heading to his home country of USA for the Sin City Showdown. But will Brad Skeens be able to beat whoever comes up against him? I have no idea. But right now, the Justice team are on fire. Let's move on down the rest of the card. Next up tonight, it's a big one. The return of Sandra Piper And the person who is stepping up to face her, it is Tiffany Abbott. And I think she might regret stepping into the ring with Sandra Piper tonight, who makes her Season 2 in-ring return. Last week, she re-emerged to call out Vwe2K18 on her claim that she is the most dominant superstar that there has ever been on Monday Night Mayhem. And she came out to prove her wrong. Sandra Piper gave her a shock. I don't think Vwe2K18 has ever been manhandled quite like she was handled by Sandra Piper. Tiffany Abbott, she definitely needs some wins, but she's going to have a tough one here tonight. She's had her fair share of fights with this woman, and she knows how dangerous she can be. And look at the crowd instantly up on their feet for the returning two-time Mayhem Women's Champion, the most dominant woman who have ever stepped foot in the WIW ring. It is Sandra Piper. She has returned, and she is ready to fight. And interestingly enough, she returned to take out Vwe2K18 and not Halie Bowen. Well, I guess maybe she knows that returning to the brand isn't going to be easy. She isn't going to get the title match straight away, especially when considering she has lost in 3 separate title matches to Halie Bowen. Yes, she has won the title back from her, but in total, her record against Bowen isn't great. And maybe Vwe2K18, she believes, is the challenge she needs to hone her skills. You know, we never really get much out of Sandra Piper words-wise. She's a very silent and deadly fighter, but we do know she is a very proud fighter as well. She loves what she does, and what she does inflict harm on people. If you've never seen Sandra Piper wrestle, boy, you're in for a treat. And the bell rings, and away we go. Let's see how this one goes. And Abbott, look at this, not going to back down straight away, going for the arm. Oh, but Sandra Piper flipping through well there, and a beautiful counter and into an arm drag of her own. And Piper, you got to imagine there might be some ring rust here. It has been a long time since we've seen her in the ring. I believe the last time, of course, was at Insomnia, where she lost to Halie Bowen. And that is where the title of Monster Slayer really began for Halie Bowen, knocking off Sandra Piper, of course. Had beaten every woman pretty much in the division for the championship at least once. That's how dominant of a fighter that she really was, Sandra Piper. And of course, she disappeared. I don't know where she was or what she was doing during the time that she was away, but she came back. And Vwe2K18 clearly caught her eye. She didn't appreciate Kaiju saying how dominant of a fighter that she was. And as you can see here, Sandra Piper proving out the gate how dominant of a fighter she is. And look at Piper here, just sizing up the target before a stomp to the chest. She's going to go straight into the cover here, just trying to wrap this one up early. She's only going to get a 1. And Vwe2K18 has been looking for more challenges in the general division. The women's division on Mayhem is pretty strong, but Vwe2K18 so far has proven she's stronger. The only woman on the roster she is yet to beat in singles action is, of course, the champion Halie Bowen, who she lost to in probably one of the best matches of the year so far. And Vwe2K18 was pushed to the limits on that night, and she was unable to walk out the winner. And I guess that's something that her and Piper have in common. 2 monsters who have been slain by the Monster Slayer. But now Sandra Piper is back, and she's struggling a little bit here. And like I say, you've got to imagine there was going to be some ring rust. And Tiffany Abbott could take full advantage of that. Tiffany Abbott has collided with the former champ before. And now look at this. Really bringing it out here. Oh my god. 450 off the ropes. Beautiful splash. And Tiffany Abbott is rolling here. And the trial era women's champion, bringing it to WIW's probably best women's champion. And what made her a great women's champion is that she could literally, everything she did, she was dominant, she was powerful, she was destructive, but it wasn't just for one match, it was for every match. It was near impossible in season number 1 to stand and trade with her, which is what made the title victory for Halie Bowen oh so sweet. And since then, Bowen has gone on to have a monstrous reign of her own. She has been a very dominant, very capable women's champion. And see the arm drag, almost flipping her out the ring there. She's having to hold the ropes just to stay in the ring. But look at this. Piper not letting up, being relentless here on her return. Dropping down. Oh, and here comes this headbutt barrage. The massive headbutts of Sandra Piper. And look at her, she acts unfazed as her head collides with another human being's. You got to imagine that hurts. Piper almost acts unfazed. Abbott still trying to fight her off, though. Still trying to find some breathing room. Abbott has done really, really well in this matchup. But Piper just showing off her overwhelming display of power here. And oh, goodness me! Tilt-a-whirl slam. And Tiffany Abbott, a great showing for her. Thanks for coming. But Sandra Piper is back. And she takes no prisoners here tonight. One tilt-a-whirl slam was all that was needed. And that was one of the most dominant moves of last year as well, because usually when that move came out, it was lights out. A return for Piper results in a victory for Piper. A huge win for the dominant Sandra Piper. And Keva Kaiju must have been watching that, must have been taking notes. But she wasn't here when the champion was about. Oh, but it looks like she's ready to test the champion anyway. Kaiju now returning the favor after last week's ambush. And Piper, well, look at this. And did you see the surprise on her face? And now she taps out to a torture rack. Oh, but Kaiju's not done. Well, Sandra Piper showed Kaiju that she could match her strength when no one else could. It looks like Sandra Piper this week, for the first time ever, is being shown that someone else can match her raw strength. And Keva Kaiju gets one back on Sandra Piper, and she screams to the WIW audience in attendance. Well, it looks like this situation between Piper and Kaiju isn't just a one-off thing. It looks like these two are ready to kill each other. And you know what? I would be ready to see that match. Where do they go from here? What's next for these two women? I don't know. But what a prospect of a match that is seeming to be. Let's move on down to tonight's main event. Main event of the evening, and it is 8-man tag team action. The 4 nominees that you guys will be able to vote for after this episode, taking on Justice and the Linebacks, who of course will have their own business to deal with at the Sin City Showdown. It's going to be one hell of a pay-per-view in Las Vegas, of all places. The city that never sleeps. I believe that's Las Vegas. I might be wrong. But I've never been to Las Vegas, and that's why I'm excited to go there and commentate what's going to be an incredible show. But we've got a huge main event here tonight as we build up towards it. And of course, that pay-per-view in Las Vegas, Nevada will probably be the very first show, the very first pay-per-view, excuse me, of 2K19. And I'm pretty sure that'll be the case. We should be able to squeeze into 2K18, the Fatality pay-per-view for Fight Night. So Mayhem will get the pleasure of hosting the first 2K19 pay-per-view. First out to the ring, Lachlan and AD Nathaniel, the team of Justice, both former hardcore champions now. They add to their resume. And of course, in compliance with working with the Linebacks have agreed that these two will be the next in line for the tag team championships of the Mayhem tag division. And that's an interesting situation there. Two teams that haven't exactly been friendly in the past, now working together with the sole purpose of overthrowing Mort Goldberg. Well, I'll tell you what, things have not looked great for Mort Goldberg recently. It really hasn't. It's been a rough ride, and I hope he knows what he's doing with this 4-on-1 scenario that he's booked himself into. I have no idea what the strategy is or what the plan is, but I hope that Goldberg knows what he's doing, because he does have the best intention for the brand, and just because a bunch of people who believe that Mayhem is their birthright, it doesn't mean that he should be losing his job. It's never good to see a man lose his job. That I can guarantee you. But he's got some tough opponents tonight, and he is fully aware of that fact. And so we will get to see them all come down here tonight. Remember, these are your 4 chosen superstars. But of course, we will see them in a minute, because I forgot to bring out the tag team champions. It is Kazarian Zander and Patrick Green, otherwise known as the Linebacks. Of course, the 3-time Mayhem tag team champions. a very dominant team on the Mayhem brand. Like I say, they will not be defending their tag team championships at the next pay-per-view. They recently defended them against the Chaos Twins, who, quite frankly, blew their opportunity by winning the match on countout. Remembering, of course, Champion's advantage, meaning that they kept their titles. So whatever the Chaos Twins were trying to do clearly didn't work, and it worked out in the Lineback's favor, who, of course, were in no rush to get back into the ring. They knew full well that if they stayed on the outside, they would have become the tag team. They would stay the tag team champions. Well, the Justice and the Lineback alignment seems to be working strong now. They seem to be a cohesive unit. But the question is, when we get to the Sin City Showdown, whoever they're going up against, will they work collaboratively there? Because you've got to remember, if they really are going to fight each other at some point for the tag team championships, you've got to imagine they're not going to be on the same page for very long, especially when gold is on the line. You'd imagine they're going to be very unhappy about that. Well, Justice and the Linebacks are out here, and now it's time to bring out the 4 men who will be facing the vote. That is your vote, that is, for the opportunity to face at the Sin City Showdown for the WIW Championship. Brad Skeens should be very, very eager to watch this one go down. Hopefully, his team can get a few cheap shots in on anyone who is potentially facing him for the championship. First person down to the ring, the man who most recently beat Brad Skeens on an episode of Mayhem, it is Mason Foster. The Welsh Dragon making his way down to the ring. He won the Fatal 4-Way as well last week. Other than the Money in the Bank ladder match, Mason's been on a roll for the last couple of weeks and months, and it's because he's finally fighting for the title he's been waiting to fight for. Mason Foster, of course, had his birthday yesterday during the episode of Fight Night. Well, not during that, obviously it was all day long, but still, another year older he gets, and he gains more and more experience as he goes along. One of the longest serving members of the Mayhem brand makes his way down to the ring tonight. And remember, after this show, we will be putting the polls up for you guys to vote on some of the stipulations and matchups for the pay-per-view. And of course, be sure to vote on who you want to see face Brad Skeens in 3 weeks' time at the Sin City Showdown for the WIW Championship. Mason Foster has waited a hell of a long time to get this opportunity to face for the World Championship. He's beaten the World Champion previously. Can he use that momentum to sway your vote and vote for him to face off at the Sin City Showdown? He's got some partners here tonight. Last week, they all worked against each other. Mason Foster walked out the winner of that one. But tonight, they must work together here in tag team action to get rid of the Linebacks and the tag team champions, the Linebacks, and of course, the Justice Movement as well. Next down to the ring, it is the real deal, Stephen Miller. And Stephen Miller has faced the champion before, but it was in a 3-on-1 handicap situation, and has since yet been able to get back to title contention. But that can change with your votes. If you believe that the real deal Stephen Miller deserves another opportunity to face for the championship, you need to make that very, very clear. If he deserves another opportunity, you must vote for Stephen Miller, or you can vote for someone else if you believe someone else deserves a shot. But the real deal Stephen Miller has had his fair share of confrontation with the Justice Movement so far in this season, and he's been eyeing up the title in the process. He's been wanting that title for so long. But the question is now, for the real deal, can he provide enough support here tonight to show you guys he's worthy of your vote? Or whether or not he's shown it already, that is up for you to decide. But maybe the real deal could be getting another shot at the Sin City Showdown. Next up tonight, the next two coming down to the ring, of course, have never faced for the WIW Championship. So if you're looking for someone new to step up to the plate and act as a wild card, I guess, to face Brad Skeens, because it's not the first couple of names that you would have thought of when choosing a challenger yourselves, maybe. But these are two people who have definitely earned it over the last couple of weeks. First person is Jax Wolfe, who has earned this due to his recent impressive performances in the hardcore division. And of course, that has shown to be a good way to leapfrog forward into title contention. You'll remember Dicson trading in his rematch clause for the Hardcore Championship to get himself a World Championship opportunity. Well, of course, Jax Wolfe did actually cash in his rematch for the Hardcore title at the Uprising pay-per-view in that 6-pack challenge. And after 2 eliminations, he couldn't find the finishing touch to win the match. But Jax Wolfe, he impressed management in that match, and that's why he's up for nomination. So if you're looking for a wildcard entry to take on the Justice movement, someone that the Justice team have never even encountered before, if you want someone who they think they're going to probably be surprised by, that is the man to vote for right there, Jax Wolfe. And for Wolfe, I'm sure he'd love his first ever world title opportunity. The former European champion as well. He knows how to be successful. And I am sure that he would love to get another crack at the championship. And the final man down to the ring, probably the man that people are the least eager to work with here tonight. But I'm sure he won't care about that. He's here to show one thing, and that he's the man who deserves to go to the Sin City Showdown to face for the WIW Championship. It is the Dragon, Tyson Jackson, who has returned to WIW and has since been pretty much indestructible, absolutely destroyed original Brad at Insomnia, then went on to beat down Robert Hall earlier on in season number 2, and then of course qualifying for the Money in the Bank as well, where he was just unable to win that matchup. But Tyson Jackson has had a phenomenal form since returning to the brand, all the way back at Uprising, and now the Dragon wants your vote to get to the championship matchup to face for the world title. He has never done that, and now he wants it. Can the Dragon get a championship opportunity? That is up to you. And we're going to start this one off with AD Nathaniel and Mason Foster as the bell rings and are underway. Mason Foster, of course, and Jax Wolfe and Tyson Jackson have never faced for the World Championship. Mason Foster is, of course, former European champion, as is Jax Wolfe. Tyson Jackson, of course, not even managed that before. So he is a real leap of faith, but just look at the form that Jackson's been in over the last couple of weeks. Stephen Miller, the only person who has faced for the championship, but it was in a 3-on-1 handicap match. So can you even really call that a fair fight? Because I know for a fact that I wouldn't, especially if you saw it. Mason now, what's he doing here? Hooking the arms. And now just wrenching away on the limbs. And that might not be the worst strategy. We've seen Mason Foster in season number 2 develop a very successful submission in that figure 4 leg lock. And we've seen how effective it can be. And the linebacks not going to waste any time to come into the ring here. In comes Kazari and Xander for a double shouldered block. Very nicely done. And Xander in green, of course, like I say, last week retaining the Mayhem Tag Team Championships. And under the order of both the chairman and the general manager, they, of course, will not be defending their championships at the Sin City Showdown. And, of course, Justice, technically, I guess, are the next ones that Xander and Green are going to fight for the titles for. I'm not sure that Mort Goldberg is going to like that situation, but that is the agreement that Justice and Linebacks came to when they forged this arrangement. So we'll have to wait and see if that's going to be the case. Mason was trying to chop down the legs of Xander there, but Xander almost shaking them all those kicks off. He wasn't having any of it. And Mason Foster right now dealing with Xander, and Xander's doing a good job of keeping him at bay for the time being. But for the Justice movement, you've got to imagine it's going to be a big pay-per-view for them. Not only the opportunity to help extend the impressive title reigns of Brad Skeens at the Sin City Showdown, if he beats one of the 4 men that will face him at the pay-per-view. But of course, not only that, but these 4 men will all face again at the Sin City Showdown against one person of Goldberg's choice. And that, of course, will determine who will win rights to the job here on Mayhem, the general manager job that is. And the referee got taken out there on that Irish whip. More tag team work here between the Linebacks and Justice. And of course, they are a very well-established team, so no surprise that these two teams are working well together. Jax Wolfe managing to get a tag, but only to be tossed into the air. And that killed the momentum train straight away there for Jax Wolfe. Wolfe going to try and find some life now and fight back, and he lands a drop kick just to do that. Wolfe going straight to the top here. Really not wasting any time. Xander, oh God! Xander! Oh, it was Green, sorry. What the hell? Green caught him in midair and just tossed him to the floor. That must have hurt. And as you can see, that immediately killed the hype of Jax Wolfe. And Lachlan now working away on him. What a start it's been from Justice and the linebacks. And what a counter that was from Patrick Green. And the linebacks and the Justice team are in full control. And Wilson and Skeens, of course, backstage after working together earlier tonight to get the win over Big Boss. And the Big Boss in the industry. They looked very impressive in that matchup. They really did push Skeens to his limit. But in the end, on your debut match, you're not going to beat the world champion. It really is as simple as that. Jax Wolfe now getting some breathing room. Might want to consider a tag because he's definitely hurt, but he's still fighting strong and lands a very nice combination. Very similar to the one that Lachlan uses himself. Lachlan these days just favouring one kick over many kicks, and that kick, of course, is the Justice kick, which has proven to be very lethal since he adopted it as his finisher. It hasn't been easy for Justice to stay on top. They've had a load of threats, but to be honest, they've been using the number game well, and so far it hasn't let them down. Xander and Green, of course, 3-time Mayhem Tag Team Champions. They've been more than successful, and that has been made abundantly clear in the past. So look at this. Whoa! Where did this come from? Wolfe all of a sudden ready to put this away, and the referee having to stop everyone involved. Pop cutter to Lachlan. I have no idea where that came from, but straight into the cover. Is that going to get it done? Green had to rush in there to deal with that situation. And Green being tossed away there by Wolfe. And Tyson Jackson was being asked for a tag. Look at that. Jax was asking for a tag, but it looks like Tyson Jackson ain't having any of it. Is Mason Foster going to want in, though? No, Lachlan's not going to give him the second, and he wipes him out on the apron as well. Well, Stephen Miller, the only one there for a tag. Miller calling for the tag. He needs to get the touch, but right now Jax is out of it, and he gets jumped. Tyson Jackson, not being a team player here tonight, refusing to come in, and he's seen what damage the linebacks and the Justice team have already done. And Lachlan winding up the referee here a bit, bringing up the referee's count. Of course, he had to count of 5 to leave, and Xander now has him up on the shoulders, and there's a gut buster. He needs to make a tag, and is this time Jackson coming in? It looks like Jackson wanted to this time, but the tag could not be reached. And Tyson Jackson might have caused all this damage to him right now, and there's a DDT to Wolfe. Wolfe in a bad spot now. We've seen the vicious power of this DDT. He's already taken a lot of damage here, but it's not quite enough to get it done, and a 2 count is all that Xander can muster. What is the strategy here from Justice and linebacks? Do they just try and finish this one simply with the blitz, or even the lethal injection? Or is it a plan? Oh, it looks like Xander has his own plan. There's a Samoan driver, and that might be enough, and Jackson thinks that's the case as well. Into the cover. Is that gonna be enough? Well, Jackson was confident that it was, and that's exactly why Jackson came in to make the save. Jackson doesn't want a loss here tonight. But at the same time, he wasn't particularly eager to come in. Well, Xander tags out now, and Justice and the linebacks are working very, very well cooperatively. I'm actually surprised with how well these two teams are working together, especially since in the very near future we're going to see Justice and the linebacks face for the Mayhem Tag Team Championships. And of course, as the champions, they have the full right and the full will to make any choice of who they face for the tag team titles, as Oxley and James are exercising over on the other brand. Tag is made, and in comes Mason Foster, and that was a much-needed tag. And look at this, Jackson once again making it clear he's not coming in for the tag. Wolfe calling him out on it. But Jackson once again making it very clear he's not coming into this match. He doesn't want to deal with linebacks and Justice. And tell you what, that would be my approach. If I was the person who Mort Goldberg chooses to fight 4-on-1 against the linebacks and the team of the Justice movement, goodness me, would you not just say no? I wouldn't even bother. Look at that. Oh, was leaning back on the ropes, but Lachlan landing a cheap headbutt there to help out his partner. And the linebacks and Justice, goodness me, they are working very well as a team, taking every cheap shot they can to get this done. but they are doing everything they can do to get it done. Steve Miller yet to come in, as is Tyson Jackson. And Steve Miller has been waiting for a tag. He hasn't received one yet. The other way round is not to be said for them. A wheelbarrow face buster there from Foster, who goes straight into the cover. And he's only going to get a one off it. And linebacks cheering on AD Nathaniel inside the ring. AD Nathaniel very much a powerhouse fighter in his own right, just like the linebacks are. And Foster going to play to the crowd. And the Mayhem Star of the Year clearly is winning them over here tonight. And now, maybe he can find a finish here. Can he find something to put them down? Looking for the DDT maybe. Oh, look at this. Oh my God. Pop-up powerbomb. Mason's first ever finisher in WIW, and he pulled it out here tonight. Well, it has been over 10 months, I believe, in real time that Mason Foster has been here. And it's been a long time since he's pulled out that move. But it looks like tonight he's going to be bringing it out. A nice little flashback there from Mason Foster. Did a very good job. But it wasn't enough to get the job done. That is to say the very least. AD Nathaniel fighting him off now the best he can. But Mason is putting up a fight. Oh, he gets tossed across the ring there though. And that's the strength I was talking about. And right now, the Justice team doing a great job of staying in control, but only just. And AD Nathaniel currently working away on Mason, but Mason not getting the job done with that pop-up powerbomb. He came close, though, and now might make a tag to get someone else in. Oh, no. What's this? He sends him to his corner and lands a knee strike. Very nicely done there by Foster, but it might not have helped him because now he's trapped in their corner as he grabs him and into a gut-wrench powerbomb. Well, suplex almost, I guess. And AD Nathaniel screaming at the crowd. He's not happy with how things are going right now. But now might be able to make the tag. Can he find a tag? Oh, look, he's not going for a tag. He's going for something bigger here. Foster's in trouble and the linebacks clear the area as Mason about to be dropped down with a huge superplex to the outside. The referee begins the count. That is going to leave a mark. Mason Foster fighting on still, though. Look at this. A true heart of a warrior here tonight. Oh, and crashing him into the barricade. Oh, God, now getting jumped by Green, who's going to give AD Nathaniel some breathing room here as he tosses Foster back into the ring. And, oh, and an elbow strike for good measure. As now AD Nathaniel comes back in, and so does Mason Foster. Foster now trying to crawl away to make a tag. It looks like AD is going to make one as well. Who's he going to tag in? Miller wants it, and Miller gets it. In comes the real deal, Stephen Miller, who wipes out Xander, and oh my God, stomps down on top of him. What a move there. And Xander tried to chop him down, couldn't connect with the chop. And the real deal, Stephen Miller exploding into the ring here. What a start. The crowd going nuts as Miller is bringing life into this match for his team. Xander now in trouble on the ground, and he's being wrenched away on the leg. He's in his corner. If he can stick his arm out, he might be able to make a tag here, but Stephen Miller staying right on top of him here tonight. And now look at Miller going for a neck breaker. Connects perfectly. Very, very nicely done. Stephen Miller. Oh! Beautiful spinning heel kick there from the real deal. Beautiful connection. And that might be enough. Is that going to be enough to knock out Kazari and Xander? Straight into the cover he goes. It's only a 2 count. Very nice work there from Stephen Miller. What a brilliant sequence from him. And he almost got the job done. But Xander has found enough in the tank just to kick out for now. And there's a neck breaker finally slowing Miller down a bit. All 4 of these men were supposed to be showing you that they are ready to face for the championship. Tyson Jackson has, of course, refused to come in. But look at Miller really showing he deserves this. There's a tie driver. Tie driver and straight into the cover. Is this going to be enough to get the job done and win it here and beat the tag champs? Yes, it is. Stephen Miller just showed up justice and the linebacks, and he's just pinned one half of the tag team champions. Well, maybe if he doesn't get a world title opportunity, maybe a tag team title opportunity could be on the horizons. Linebacks and Justice, despite dominating large portions of the match, pick up a huge victory, huge defeat here, sorry. And the 4 nominees for the #1 contendership to the Brad Skeens title stand tall here tonight. A huge victory for these 4 men. But the question is, who impressed you the most out of this bunch? After this match, be sure to go onto Twitter and look for the tweet where you guys can vote on who you want to face for the WIW Championship in a few weeks' time. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up tonight's show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like if you did. Comment your thoughts and feelings on tonight's show. Subscribe to the channel if you were new, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.